name is Sonia Fuentes. I think most of you know me. On July 2nd, 1965, a brand new federal agency opened in Washington, D.C., the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC. It was established by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And that act prohibited employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin by covered employers, employment agencies, and labor unions. I joined the EEOC on October 3rd, 1965, 3 months after it had opened for business, and I was the first woman attorney in the Office of the General Counsel. In 1966, a woman named Pauli Murray joined the EEOC, not as a lawyer, which she was, but as a consultant in the research department headed by Charlie Markham. They had both grown up in Durham, North Carolina, and I guess that's how she got the job. In 1966, Pauli and I were both among the 49 founders of NOW, the National Organization for Women, which was founded in Washington, D.C., and we were both in a famous NOW picture showing some of the founders. We met and became friends and colleagues at the EEOC. I knew nothing about her background or accomplishments when I met her, but I later read her memoir, Proud Shoes, and her book of poetry, Dark Testament. I didn't know that in 1965, she was the first Black person in the United States to get a doctorate in juridical studies from the Yale Law School. I didn't know that she had written a book about the racial laws in each of the then 48 states in this country and the District of Columbia. I knew nothing about her problems with her sexual identity. I did know that at the EEOC at one time, she was considered for the General Counsel's job, but she was turned down because of her membership in a leftist organization when she was younger. She was then offered the Deputy General Counsel's job, but she turned it down because she said if she'd be a threat to the United States as General Counsel, she would also be a threat as Deputy General Counsel. She then left the EEOC in 1967 to become a vice president of Benedict College in South Carolina, and she left there in 1968 to become a professor at Brandeis University. We remained friends. When my daughter Zia had a school project and wanted to do it about Pauli's trip to Ghana in 1961, when she served on the faculty of the Ghana School of Law, Pauli gave her a group of pictures for her show and tell. One thing that struck me about Pauli was that she never stayed long in any job. In the few years that I knew her, she was a consultant at the EEOC, a vice president at Benedict College, a professor at Brandeis University, a student for the Episcopal ministry, and finally the first Black Episcopal minister, woman minister in the United States. She was always moving on. Betsy Graves Reno, a friend of Pauli's, was a painter of Black leaders and a suffragist. She got one of 81 pins that famous suffragist Alice Paul gave to the suffragists who picketed the White House for suffrage and then were arrested and jailed either at the Occoquan Workhouse or the DC jail. Occoquan is today called Lorton, Virginia. When Betsy Graves Reno died, her daughter gave her pin to Pauli, and Pauli started the practice of giving the pin to a feminist activist who was to have it for a year and then pass it on to another feminist activist. I got it for a year, and just when I was ready to pass it on, Pauli died at the age of 74 in 1985. I called Pauli's great niece in Virginia and spoke to her about Pauli's death and what to do about the pin. Because of Pauli's death, I contacted two of my feminist activist friends, Mary Eastwood and Catherine East, and we all decided to donate the pin to what was then called the Sewell Belmont House, the headquarters of the National Woman's Party, founded in 1916 by Alice Paul. Almost 3 years ago, filmmakers Julie Cohn and Talia Bridges McMahon came to my condo at the Meadows with a crew to interview me for this film about Pauli, and were there for 5 hours. Julie and Betsy West were the same two filmmakers who made the smash hit RBG. In the film, you can hear me briefly at the beginning describing Pauli, although you don't see me then, but later I made 2 brief appearances, in one of which I discussed the founding of NOW, and in the other I expressed shock after Pauli tells me that she's going to study for the Episcopal ministry at a time when they didn't admit women. The film was released at the Sundance Film Festival this past January and February, and is now on Amazon Prime. This coming February 21st, Arlene Sweeting, who's head of Sarasota's Fogartyville Cafe, is going to show the film at New College, followed by a panel discussion in which I'll participate, and there will be an outdoor reception. I hope you enjoy the film.